Well, how long will Gladys Berejiklian put up with Matt Kean and his chest beating on climate change? The public are sick of it. The Liberal base know this bloke is nothing more than a political opportunist driving around in a Tesla. Kean must understand if the public wanted the Greens in charge, they would have more than one lower house seat in the New South Wales Parliament. We now learn that Kean was on a phone call last night with the UK's Energy and Clean Growth Minister, Anne-Marie Trevelyan. The state member for Hornsby said, quote, she was very familiar with what we were doing in New South Wales, very excited about the energy roadmap. Well, this is a $32 billion energy policy, except there is no costing and no modelling, no information. I wonder, has Ms Trevelyan been given more information than we have? Kean then said that Ms Trevelyan was curious about why Australian state governments, which all have net zero targets, were more ambitious on emissions reduction than the federal government. Well, when the koala-hugging Kean says net zero carbon emissions, he not only means closing down all coal-fired power stations, he also means no gas to cook with, no diesel to power trucks and heavy machinery, no exports of coal or gas, no meat or dairy produce, because animals produce 14% of the carbon dioxide emissions. So get rid of all agriculture. Net zero carbon dioxide emissions means no air travel, no Qantas, no Virgin, and the destruction of almost every job in the economy that relies on tourism. So you can kiss goodbye to hotels and motels and bed and breakfasts and cafes and restaurants and transport operators, baggage handlers, taxi operators. That's what's on the agenda. If you rabbit on about net zero carbon dioxide emissions, you think I'm joking? Well, Professor Julian Allwood is the Professor of Engineering and Environment at Cambridge University. He has said, quote, the only way the UK can get to net zero carbon dioxide emissions by 2050 is by having a substantial period of no aviation at all. Professor Allwood said, if you want to achieve the halving of flights in 10 years, the introduction of an aircraft fuel tax will be needed, which would make flights up to 4 times more expensive. The Matt Kean who flew a private jet out to Cobar last year would not be liking that thought. The most dangerous enemy in our country today are those on the conservative side of politics like Matt Kean, who want to break bread with the authors of this latest economic suicide note, net zero carbon dioxide emissions. But I suspect I know the real reason why Kean was talking to the UK Energy Minister. Perhaps he realises that no one here with any brains wants to talk to him. Or is he hoping he'll cop an invitation to the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow this year, hosted by the British government? There, by the way, the New South Wales state member for Hornsby can rub shoulders with his political idols, President Biden and Jacinda Ardern, and take a selfie with the schoolgirl Greta Thunberg. For Matt Kean, that'd be a dream come true. And then after rubbing shoulders with those global elites, he'll surely be invited to fly to Davos for the World Economic Forum's Climate Change Conference. Only there will his alarmist rhetoric be applauded, linking Australia's bushfires not to his department's dereliction of backburning, but to climate change. He can be a temporary hero. He may as well enjoy it, because the electorate here will be unforgiving. The truth of the matter is simple. Matt Kean is fast becoming one of the most dangerous politicians in Australia.